smiling man at 3 a.m. A terrifying Reddit horror story that still haunts me. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and felt like someone was watching you? Most people brush it off. A bad dream. A trick of the mind. But what happened to me 3 years ago still keeps me awake. And to this day, I never look outside my bedroom window after 3 a.m. because of him. The smiling man. Nash story. 18 years old and living with my parents in a small town. Our house sat at the end of a quiet street. Nothing ever happened there. No crime, no weird neighbors, nothing. My floor facing the street. Every night before sleeping, I'd leave my curtains slightly open so moonlight could come in. It helped me sleep. One night, I woke up suddenly. No reason, no noise, no nightmare, just awake. The digital clock beside my bed read 3:03 a.m. The room felt strangely cold. I pulled the blanket tighter around myself and turned toward the window. That's when I saw him. A man standing across the street, still, looking directly at my window. Even from that distance, I could tell something was wrong. His posture was unnatural. His arms hung stiffly at his sides, his head tilted slightly, and he wasn't moving. Not even a little. At first, I thought he was just some drunk guy, maybe waiting for someone. Face. He was smiling. Not a normal smile, a huge smile, way too wide, the kind that made your stomach twist. I sat up in bed. The man didn't move, didn't blink, just stared and smiled. A chill ran down my spine. I checked my phone. No messages, no notifications. I looked back outside. Still smiling. For some reason, I couldn't stop looking at him. It felt like he wanted me to, like he knew I was awake. After about a minute, he slowly lifted one hand and waved. My heart nearly stopped. I immediately dropped below the window. I remember breathing so hard I felt dizzy. This wasn't normal. I grabbed my phone and texted my friend. No answer. Of course he wasn't awake. For several minutes, I calmed down. Finally, curiosity got the better of me. I slowly raised my head above the windowsill. The street was empty. I felt relieved. Embarrassed, even. Maybe I imagined the whole thing. Maybe I was still half asleep. I laughed nervously and went back to bed. Big mistake. The next morning, I checked out. Nothing unusual. No footprints. No sign anyone had been there. Days passed. Then a week. I forgot about it. Until the following Friday. I woke up again. Exactly a.m. The moment I opened, I felt dread. The room was freezing. My heart started pounding. I looked at the clock. 3:03. The same time. Slowly, I turned toward the window, and there he was, standing, smiling, waiting. This time he was closer. Not much, but closer. I knew it immediately. I could see more details now. His clothes looked old, almost dirty. His skin seemed pale. His eyes looked completely black. And that smile, that horrible smile, it stretched across his face unnaturally. I couldn't move. I couldn't even blink. Then he raised one finger and pointed directly at me. My blood turned cold. I jumped from my bed and slammed the curtains shut. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, I told my parents, laughed, said I was having nightmares. My father checked outside. Nothing. Weeks went by, every Friday, every single Friday. I woke up at 3:03 a.m., and every time the smiling man appeared. Closer, closer, closer. Each week he moved nearer to my house, across the street, then the sidewalk, then my front yard, always smiling, always staring, never moving unless I looked away. I stopped sleeping properly. I stopped opening my curtains. I became paranoid. Friends noticed. My grades dropped. My parents thought I was stressed, but I knew what I was seeing, and it was getting closer. One Friday night, I decided to prove it. I set up my phone facing the window before going to sleep. If the man appeared, I'd have evidence. I checked the battery, 100%, started recording, and went to bed. At 3:03 a.m., I woke up again. The room was freezing. I looked outside. The smiling man was standing at the edge of my driveway, closer than ever. I could clearly see his face, his eyes, his teeth. I nearly screamed. But then I remembered the camera. The screen was black. The battery had somehow drained completely. Impossible. It had been fully charged. I felt panic rising. Then something happened. For the first time ever, the man moved, slowly. He took one step forward, then another, toward my house, toward me. I slammed the curtain shut and ran downstairs. My parents woke up from the noise. I begged them to look outside. My father finally agreed. Annoyed, he opened the front door and froze. For several seconds, he said nothing. Nothing at all. Then he quietly shut the door, locked it, and pulled every curtain in the house closed. His face was completely pale. I asked him what he saw. He refused to answer. Over and over. He refused. The next morning, my father looked exhausted. I asked again, "What did you see?" He stared at me for a long time, then finally spoke. "I saw someone standing outside." My stomach dropped. "You believe me now?" He nodded. Then he said something I'll never forget. "He wasn't looking at your window." I felt confused. "What?" My father's hands trembled. He was looking at me. That night, my father installed security cameras around the house, motion sensors, floodlights, everything. He never explained why he seemed so terrified, and I never pushed him. I didn't want the answer. Friday came again. 3 a.m. I woke up. The floodlights outside were on. The security alarms were silent. I looked through a tiny gap in the curtain. The smiling man was standing direct beside my bedroom window. Second floor. There was no ladder, no balcony, nothing. Yet somehow, he was outside, looking in, smiling. I screamed. My parents rushed into the room. By the time they arrived, he was gone. The police were called. They searched everywhere, found nothing. The security cameras recorded hours of footage, except for one section, from 3:02 a.m. until 3:04 a.m. The video was completely corrupted. Every camera, every angle, 2 full minutes missing. No explanation. The next Friday, we left town. Stayed in a hotel hundreds of miles away. I thought it was over. I thought we'd escaped. At 3:03 a.m., I woke up, and sitting in the chair across the hotel room was the smiling man, watching me, smiling, waiting. Wah! I blinked, and he vanished, just disappeared, like he'd never been there. The next morning, my father packed our bags immediately. No discussion, no questions. We drove home. Neither of us spoke. A month later, my father died unexpectedly. Heart attack. At least that's what the doctor said. Before the funeral, I was helping clean his office. That's when I found an old notebook hidden in a drawer. Inside was a single sentence written repeatedly across dozens of pages. The same sentence, over and over, in shaky handwriting. "Don't let him know you can see him. Don't let him know you can see him. Don't let him know you can see him." My father never told me what happened that night, but I think I know. The moment he looked outside, the smiling man saw him, just like he saw me. And now, 3 years later, Friday, at exactly 3 a.m., I still wake up. I never check the window anymore. Never. Because sometimes, just before I fall asleep, I hear something outside. A faint tapping against the glass, and a quiet voice whispering, "I know you can see me." If you're listening to this story at night and you happen to wake up at 3:03 a.m., whatever you do, don't look outside your window. You might see him smiling back. The end.